Hello, I'm Ryan and welcome to my van build. In this episode we're going to be talking sound deadening and insulation. Now that will help the van regulate its own temperature by keeping it cool in the summer and warm in the winter. I've got the Dodo Mat range from Combe Valley Campers, so I'll talk you through everything I've got. So I'm going to start off with telling you all about the 3 different products for insulation, starting with the sound deadening. This is a little sample piece here. As you can see, it's quite a thin layer. It's got a foil back with an adhesive layer there that sticks to the van. This helps to reduce the sound of the vibrations of the van, whether it's from road noise or whether it's from the rain. The second layer is the thermal barrier. It's slightly thicker. It has closed cell foam with a foil backing. This will help reduce with condensation sticking to the wall. And the last layer is the insulation. This is recycled plastic. You can stuff it into all the cavities and all the crevices that you need to, and then just apply it to the walls. First thing I need to do is remove all the ply panels. I've got this plastic housing up here. It covers all the wires that go into the back for the interior lighting. It's big, it's bulky, it's not really necessary. It's going to be covered by cupboards or something else, so I'm just going to get rid. Easy as that. Also, I can now get to this bit, which is a bit more rusty than the rest of the areas. If, like me, you just have some of these bits of rust that are along the seams, they're not worth going over with the grinder. Just simply go over with a wire brush and cover with red oxide. It's the bigger areas like these that are probably worth going over with a twist knot wire brush. And there we go. You can already see the difference it's made from where I've just gone over there compared to over here. So just going to carry on with the rest of it now with a wire brush and then do the grinder at the end. Once you've wire brushed over and sanded it down, it's time to red oxide. Pretty much go everywhere you can with this, go over the seams, go over any bare metal where rust was previously. Some people could say that you can do too much, but I don't think there is when it comes to rust. Get as much of it as you can on. It says to do 2 layers, wait 6 hours in between. So just go crazy with it. By this point, I might as well have just painted the whole van red. But I'm just going over all the seams here, just because there are loads of little bits of rust and I just don't want it creeping back in, so I might as well cover it. As you can see, I've applied red oxide pretty much everywhere there was a scratch or a little bit of rust. Some might say it's overkill, but when it comes to rust, there is no such thing as overkill. You really need to make sure that you get as much treatment done as possible just to prevent it coming back in the future. So anywhere on the upper level where there was any kind of signs of rust, any kind of scratch or dent, anything from where it was previously a builder's van has been wire brushed, sanded, and also had some sort of treatment done to it, whether it's red oxide or cure rust. And then now I'm just going to go over it with this hammerite stuff, which is direct to rust. Then after that, I'm ready to go and I can start insulating and sound deadening. There we go. All of the painting is done. So that's all of the top coat, which is the hammerite direct to rust, is done now. That's over all of the red oxide areas that you could see earlier. While I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm going to now do the sound deadening in some of the other areas of the panels here. And I'll talk you through everything that I've got. So just before you do the sound deadening or any sort of insulation, what you want to do is prepare the panels. So I'm just going to spray it down with some panel wipe, and then hopefully that should remove any sort of grease, debris, anything like that will stop the insulation sticking. Once you've wiped down the panels and removed all the grease, then it's time to apply the sound deadening. These are the Dodo hex mats from Dodo Mat. I actually got this full kit from Combe Valley Campers, where it includes everything you need for the right size van that you have. So these hex mats are super easy to install. All you have to do is peel and stick. Just going to line it up, see where I need it. I'm going to hopefully do one sheet there, and then just cut a strip off down for the bottom. What I'm going to start by doing is peeling a little bit back to begin with. Once it's found its place, you can then start peeling the rest of it off. And then with these little bits, you can just cut a strip off. Should be able to go down there. So what I'll do is I'll mark just a point here. A little point there. It doesn't need to be exact because all you're doing is covering half the panel. So if you picture it, this isn't half the panel. The full panel is this bit. So what I want to do is just get a good coverage here and a good coverage on this side, and then that should be it. There we go, just cut a little sheet off. Just fits quite nicely in there. There we go. And then what you can do, if you've got a roller, just go over it with the roller, making sure it's got an even application all the way around. So now, let's give it the sound test. See, it's more of a deeper tone, and that way it should just reduce the road noise. Love it. Now it's time to fit the thermo liner. As you can see, it's got a foil back. This is going to be on the outside, whereas the inside is the black closed cell foam. So what you're going to do is cut this to shape to fit into the panels and then stick it straight on, and that is all. As easy as that. So follow along. I've measured out the space and cut out a panel. What I need to do now is cut out the curves just so it fits in there a bit neater and tidier. And then it's ready to be stuck on. And I've just done the exact same for the other side.
Before I get started on the next layer of insulation, I'm going to do the wheel arches. I'm starting with the sound deadening. This is probably the noisiest part of the van. I'm going to cover these completely with Dodo Deadn hex mats. Don't worry about doing this part neat. For the second layer, I'm using underlay left over from the floor. This is the Deadn Duo Pro. This will reduce road noise even more and also act as a great thermal barrier. You could also use thermo liner instead if you have that left over. It's a bit of an awkward shape, but there's no wrong way you can do this really. Now back on with the fleece layer.
So to apply this, it's really easy. Just measure up the area that you need. You can rip it straight with your hands and then spray the adhesive on. Just give it a good coating. Make sure the van is fully open and well ventilated before you do this. If you're inside, you might want to consider wearing a mask. Okay, so what you want to do is spray some of the adhesive straight up directly onto the wall and directly onto the insulation. Just going to spray a little bit first just to get it stuck up. There we go, now it can hold its own weight and I can start to spread along. There we go, there's the first layer. I'm just going to do another layer now down here. Don't worry if you haven't got full coverage. You can just make up little bits and just pop them in.
Repeat that same process around the van. I've left some gaps where I know I'm going to cut holes for other features. I've also added sound deadening and thermo liner to the cab area.
That is all the insulation done. I've done all the walls, the roof, inside the doors, any little cavities that I can find, and I've also done inside the cab. So tune in next time where I've got the electrics to start, I've got the bed to build, and I'm going to start building the walls. So see you next time.